Hellfire missiles, sinking ships, sporting competitions, and humanitarian assistance drills. These are just some of the highlights from this year's 24th Rim of the Pacific exercise. CCTV's Nathan King reports on key moments from the event, including what it's like to land on an aircraft carrier.
You can see Pearl Harbor pretty empty. That's because here at the Rim of the Pacific exercises, there are near 50 ships that are participating and now all at sea. And time to reflect on some of the things that have been happening here. They're quite incredible. It's been a series of firsts. First of all, the USS Independence, a stealthy littoral ship. That means it comes very close to shore. In fact, it can stand, despite its huge size, in just 4 meters of water. That, for me, was the highlight. Huge amounts of technology on that ship, can actually be staffed by just 6 people. It doesn't come cheap. $700 million was the price tag, and it was way over budget. Talking about budgets, aircraft carriers. We got the chance to go to the Ronald Reagan, the flagship of aircraft carriers here at RIMPAC, and it was quite an incredible feeling as we landed on deck. As you know, there's a big debate about aircraft carriers around the world. The US actually has 11, 10 if you discount the ones that are out of commission, more than the rest of the world put together. They are quite amazing fighting machines, but in this era of low-intensity warfare, more nimble armed forces, and let's not forget tight defense budgets, are they really relevant? Well, the commander and the crew of the Ronald Reagan think not only should they be kept, but they should have more of them as well. Of course, it's all about warfighting machines, but the one area where countries can really come together and cooperate is about humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, HADR as they call it here in the military. And we've seen a lot of cooperation on that front, some of the biggest exercises. And of course, remember, this region, it's not a question of if, but when we're going to see the next natural disaster. So what they're doing here really could save lives, save money, and ramp up the response to any natural disaster or emergency in the Pacific Rim. The question also, here is, what is the future of RIMPAC? We see the live fire exercises, we see the humanitarian events. No cyber warfare, even though that's at the top of the agenda. And we spoke to one of the commanders here, Rear Admiral Simon Cullen. He could see a time when they could actually simulate that too.
One of the great things about RIMPAC exercises is how they evolve over time to reflect contemporary requirements. And I've seen that in my lengthy experience. And it would not surprise me if cyber comes on the agenda in the future. But I would say that very much is part of the considerations and the planning process for any future exercises. And it requires the host nation to agree to that and all the participating nations to agree to that, so that we as a team agree, yes, that cyber is something that we want to do together. So I'm not ruling it in or out, but it's something that's definitely on the table. I'm sure will be discussed for future RIMPAC exercises.
Rear Admiral Simon Cullen at the top of the command chain of 25,000 service people who are here for RIMPAC. It's not just the Navy drills and the humanitarian exercise. They really get to know each other in the bars, of course, but also on the sports field as well. Lots of events where they can play against each other, get to know each other. This sort of stuff is invaluable for building relationships between the services in the US and amongst the 22 countries that are here. But the highlight for many was SINKEX. It's the sinking of a ship, a Hellfire missile fired from helicopters. It really gives a chance to people to show off their military hardware, sink a ship, and these pictures say it all. Nathan King, CCTV, Pearl Harbor, Hawaii.